where for the second time this year, the Dow hit another milestone. We've been in and out of it since. Now 25,971. This is just 7 trading days after 25,000. By the way, it's the 8th 1,000-point milestone since Election Day, the 7th since the president was inaugurated. Among some of the companies we're looking at that are moving up smartly, a lot of people say based on tax cuts that are improving the bottom line, United Health and Citigroup. Merck also up on a very successful lung cancer drug study. The tech sector continuing to move forward. And again, we have the president entertaining the head of Kazakhstan when they speak to the media, which they should. Within the next half hour, we'll take you there. To the Dow Jones is Glenn Hall, Democratic strategist, Michael Starr Hopkins, and Deirdre Bolton. You know, it got me thinking, Deirdre, it happens sometimes when we're focused on federal tax cuts that the impact at the local level, if your state local taxes don't go down or worse go up,
right?
It could offset. It could offset that boom.
In the meantime, do not tell that to any single person invested in the stock market right now, right? Right now, this is just euphoria. No one cares. You started to talk about these 1,000-point milestones. Last year alone, we blew by 5, right? 2014, 2 to add to that. And now, as you're just saying, within 7 days, 2 more. So this is extraordinary. I also like to even put this in the larger context. This is a 9-year bull run. This is an awfully long stretch of going up and up and up. To your point about the federal taxes, to me, this is all about that, right? Corporations got a huge break, right? 35% down to 21%. That feels good to a lot of companies. And then also for all of these companies that make money overseas, they get this one-time forgiveness tax. That's my term, obviously, not the government's, 15.5%. Right. And then from this point on, nothing. You're not taxed on any single penny that you make overseas. If this is not a good time for stock investors, I don't know what is.
You know, Glenn, that's been their curse of riches. I think when you look under the hood here, besides the rate collapsing to 21 from 35, instant expensing, everything is instant. There's nothing phased in. I think the dirty little secret on this, I'm not disparaging it, is that this tax forgiveness of this other money, it's a curse of riches for companies that are not just giving it to shareholders and that sort of thing. There'd be nothing wrong if they did, but they're going further than that. And that could be helping individuals out more and could be part of what's going on here. But what do you think?
Well, the optimism is real, and there's a lot of adjustment being done right now with the, we see Citi and JP Morgan coming out and saying, well, we got to take this one-time hit because all of this tax-deferred status that we've been holding on to for the future is pretty much gone. But they still come out saying we're optimistic about what this tax reform does for us long-term.
So they take the hit now to adjust for money they were putting aside that they don't have to, essentially, right?
Exactly right. And that does not mean that they're in trouble in the future. They continue with their same plans, but the tax reform gives them a different way forward in terms of how they benefit their shareholders.
How much are you crediting the president to this?
Well, look, this is the president's tax plan, and he pushed hard on this. And I think the president...
I guess I'm talking about the rally.
Oh, the rally? Well, look, I think the tax plan is behind the rally. I agree with Deirdre on that. And the rally is sort of an extension of what the optimism that the president brought. And that optimism is sustained when you get deals done, when you get tax reform done, when you get the next level of legislation. And let's not forget all the regulatory deregulation that's been done through the executive office.
I just want to remind everyone, though, while it's good to see the economy doing well, we also need to see wage growth increase in the middle and lower class because, the average American...
I don't mean to interrupt you, friend. We are watching the president, too. He is awaiting the head of Kazakhstan here. They're going to have a brief statement a little later on, but that's what's happening on the north portico of the White House right now. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would just say the average American isn't investing in the stock market. And so we need to make sure that all Americans are seeing the benefit of this economy.
Well, more than you think, average Americans.
I was just going to say,
you might not even know it indirectly.
But I'm thinking of more people in my age demographic, people in their early 30s who may, through their, if they have pensions or 401ks, but a lot of people also don't. And so what we're not seeing is those kind of wage increases in people who are, working.
So what do you think of all these companies sharing the loot with their workers?
I hope that continues. But I think that, these temporary...
Does it surprise you?
Not really. The temporary bonuses aren't surprising. What has been surprising is seeing some companies start to incrementally raise wages because for a long time people have said that would cause job losses. And so I think we're starting to see that may not be true.
Do you think raising taxes on the upper income in New Jersey, for example, and Phil Murphy has been sworn in as governor succeeding Chris Christie he has still talked about wanting to slap a tax on millionaires. Chris Christie said it's going to be a mistake. Even the Senate president of New Jersey said it could be a mistake because it could chase the moneymakers away. What do you think?
I mean, I think in all honesty, you're not going to see rich people leave New Jersey because of its proximity to New York and the ease with which they can get into the city. But I think this is a great moment for Republicans and Democrats to come together and come up with a solution, because Phil Murphy...
Sounds like you don't think it's a good idea.
I don't necessarily think it's a good idea, but I think Phil Murphy legalizing marijuana for recreational purposes will bring more tax revenue into the state.
Well, it would make
help
the blow of higher taxes easier to endure.
Absolutely.
As high as a kite, you never know.
Colorado's seen a lot of success with it, so I think New Jersey can replicate it.
What do you think of that? That if this is the counter trend I was raising with Deirdre, not across the board, but in those states where you can no longer write off your high taxes, that's a conundrum.
That is a downside to this tax reform for specific states, New York, New Jersey, California, and a few others. You've got a challenge there, and they've got a challenge to face, because this changes the dynamics between intrastate appeal for wealthy new businesses and other opportunities that might help their economies. So they've got to work on that.
What do you think, Deirdre?
Yeah, I think the critics of this plan have said, why are you punishing the working middle class to upper middle class and giving that money to companies so that CEOs get more? So that has been the criticism that I've heard. I think net, more people, with all due respect, I think are invested in the stock market, that maybe they realize 401ks, pensions. I do think for the average worker, the fact that the stock market is just up and up and up is helpful. I will begin to watch for the signs that maybe there is perhaps a threat eventually. I mean, at some point this comes down, right? For the moment, I'm happy to, cheer it on, but there will be a moment where the market ceases to go up. And then I think...
You're a New Yorker, right?
Yes, I am.
Now, we talked about what they want to do in New Jersey, but Governor Cuomo, unlike Mayor Bill de Blasio, I think I'm correct on this, poo-pooed the talk of a tax on high earners, saying that it would be counterproductive. Not so Phil Murphy yet. We could have a little border agony there, right?
You want me to just start
Yes.
mixing
Start
it up? I actually think the millionaires tax on Manhattan, listen, the people who are working and earning above a certain level are, through their higher taxes, supporting a lot of the city's infrastructure. And I'm only speaking of the city-state of Manhattan. I don't think people are leaving. I'm with you. They're going to complain. They're going to be unhappy. They're not going anywhere. Their kids are in school here. Their jobs are here.
But what about the ones whose kids are not in school?
Then I think they can go.
You have no reason to
There's also something about being in New York. I mean, people love saying they live in New York. They have homes in Manhattan. And I just don't see people leaving.
Why didn't you apply that to New Jersey?
I love New Jersey, and I think people love living in areas like Morristown and, in some of the more affluent areas of New Jersey that allow them to then be in the city quickly. But I think when it comes to New York...
See, I worry about New Yorkers with their arrogance with that. Not you.
Yeah.
And certainly not Deirdre.
I'm a New Jersey.
I do think it's a risk that Northeasterners face. Well, who'd ever want to move away from New York? Californians had that attitude when Texas was trying to tempt their employers, right?
Don't see a lot of out-migration still in California or New York. So, those things don't always come to sort of an immediate and obvious impact.
A lot of businesses have set up in Texas.
I think that's the thing to watch for.
Yeah.
It's less about the individual millionaires and so forth moving on. It's more about the GEs moving to Boston and that kind of thing, where you see corporate mobility is alive and well.
Yeah, Boston is amazing. There's something like 800 new biotech firms that have been established there in the past 5 years.
That's not a cheap neck of the woods, to your point.
No, I mean, it's not just kind of the tax implications, but it's also the realities of, having access to those cities and getting there.